Is the end near? Will there be a recession in 2019? And was the Mueller report a big waste of time and money? What's up, everyone? Welcome aboard. It's Bubba's Bottom Line. Happy Easter. Great to be here with you, and happy Passover. Happy Easter. Hope everybody had a great Good Friday. Here we are, and of course, once again, we have seen another rally in the markets, and not a surprise, as we say every week or every day, okay, that we think that the markets could still probably go higher. But again, the big question is the end near? And I think, you start to look at some of these earnings reports. Yes, the markets have gone up, but of course we've reduced the expectation of markets and of companies' performance so low that it's hard not to beat them. And of course, that continues to force money into the markets. So we'll see. Again, you can look at it any way you want. Okay, we can listen to the dribble and the bull. Okay, from those out there that want to continue to say that we're going to go nothing but higher, that the economy is great. And listen, there are some very good things about the economy, but there's a lot of bad things as well. Again, I start, just looking at the models that our leaders have us look at, and they don't look too good to me. You've got some things happening out there that are not very good. And in my eyes, I think that we're already in the start of a recession. Just because you announce recession doesn't mean it starts today. It doesn't start and end in one day. It's something that starts to build and come from earlier, okay? And you get there and then you finally recognize it when, of course, it's always too late. Our leaders, okay, the Fed and the economists, they realize it 10 years from now. But again, from things that I'm seeing, things that I look at, I think you're starting to see some signs that should be sending out a lot of warning notices. And again, the big demand for cheaper money, for printing more money, seems to be a bigger problem than anybody would like to bring into. But of course, the ones with the biggest clubs are out there that want that, because of course they are the biggest beneficiaries of that. So there's a lot of things out there that just don't make a lot of sense. And of course, on Thursday morning, we had the release of the Mueller report. Another big waste of money, another big waste of time, and another bunch of bull that meant absolutely nothing. And of course, these are things that you when you have this ridiculous battle between the political scene, all right, and of course, now that the report is out there, of course, the left, it doesn't have enough information now. They want to go even deeper, okay? And of course, this is very common. Again, I'm not blaming just the left, okay? Although the left is totally lost their minds, with how far left they have gone. You've seen that with the punishing of a lot of the healthcare companies because of our good friend Bernie Sanders and what he wants to do with private healthcare. But when you look at what's going on here, it has become really almost comical, except that it's going to have some major effects to many. And of course, what you're really doing is you're isolating the upper percentage of the wealth, and as much as they want to create this social this atmosphere, okay, it's really because they've already got their money. It really goes back to all those great Hollywood actors that are so far left. But of course, it doesn't. We don't say, well, you've already made your $100 billion, okay, and you're already rich, so you don't really care about the rest. And if you can create this environment, it just keeps you to make sure that you're going to retain the wealth and things that you have. So again, there's so many fallacies to what's going on that it's actually the sign of a lot more trouble to come. And of course, I've said this before. I used to say it on the Bubba show. There's going to be in this country another revolution at some point. When I cannot predict it, but there are so many things bad on both sides of the aisle that just don't make any sense whatsoever. and of course you have this total destruction of the true, of almost a free world. Not only just free markets, which every time I say free markets and price discovery, I get a ton of emails saying, well, you're wrong or whatever. And again, look, at the end of the day, okay, we've already instituted a lot of socialistic programs in this country, okay, and obviously the left would like to have them all that way, and this is where always the battle becomes. But I think a lot of it starts with the death of the educational system in this country. Okay, I think that what we're seeing from all the way from kindergarten all the way through your master's degree, our total education system is broken down. And we've really gone, as you know, or maybe you don't know, but I've been against this forever. Okay, the Common Core curriculum, the entire garbage that they try to teach in general. Okay, instead of actually really teaching and learning, we have all the political views that go through schools from the beginning. And of course, the money for the tests, the whole deal is ridiculous. And of course, obviously, we're seeing it come to a head with how some of the others, and we're seeing it with Felicity Huffman and with Lori Loughlin and how all these deals, and how at the end they actually had to pay their way to get their kids into these great universities. But again, it starts long before we get to the universities. The garbage that is taught, and of course my kids went to at the time the #1 high school in the state of Illinois, and I asked them what they had learned, and I finally said, this is ridiculous. And actually how the high school program that we talk about in our breaks was born was because the lack of what kids learn. When I went to school, okay, you could have wood shop, auto mechanics, you could have all kinds of trades you could learn, and they also had a work-study program for those who may not want to go to college or may not be fit for college. Not everybody is fit for college, and there are a lot of good jobs, okay, that are for those that don't go to college. So I think that's one of the big problems that has created many of the issues here with the overall system. But I think when you're seeing things happen here that bring a lot of issues, and of course you can start with the marijuana. Okay, now again, I don't use marijuana. I've not smoked a joint in 40 years. Okay, however, I do believe that it should be legalized throughout the country. But of course, what is the big problem? Well, the big problem is, of course, the federal government standing in between, and then it goes from the federal government into the state governments because they're trying to overtax it. All right. So instead of getting it done and getting it out there, because it's going to get out there anyways. And again, we all know, okay, this is very similar to gun control, right? The people that want guns, the people that want marijuana are going to get it, whether it's legal in their state or not legal in their state. Okay, we all understand that, I hope, because again, it's been that way for as long as I can remember, and going beyond that. You can go back to prohibition with alcohol. The people that want to get what they want to get, they're going to get it, okay, because there's going to be a supplier out there. So wouldn't it make more sense to bring it in, tax it at a fair rate, so that the growers, the sellers, and everybody can make a fair amount of money instead of trying to overtax it in oblivion? It's the same problem we're seeing right now in the sports betting industry. The Supreme Court approved and said that it's legal to have sports betting in all 50 states. Now, some have it and have embraced the money that they can make by allowing people in their state to gamble. Okay, and of course they're prospering from that part of it. But of course, states like Illinois that want to make more than the people that are taking the risk, all right, okay, they want a bigger piece of the pie than mathematically is allowed to be made, is ridiculous. And that's why in a tax state like Illinois, California, New York, that the taxes keep rising, because the crooked governments within those states don't really care, where they have the simple solutions by bringing in gambling, pot, whatever, at a fair taxation, where, again, they can supply the state, they can bring the money in, they can take away and lower taxes of the individuals. But of course, that would be just too simple to see this all work that way. And there's so many issues here that don't make sense. Okay, but that's what you get to live with, and that's when you have the way the entire setup of our system is breaking down, which is the problem. And again, I always ask the question. Okay. States like Texas and Florida are flourishing with no state tax, okay? Yet the biggest states are crumbling. So again, it doesn't make a lot of sense is what we're seeing here. Now the real question is this the calm in the market before the storm? Okay. And when we say the calm before the storm, okay, when we look at what's going on, of course, the markets continue to dribble up each and every day. The markets continue to work their way to new levels and new highs. And again, I would think they're going to put new highs in. But when you see the picture, okay, you have to wonder, is this the calm before the storm? In the meantime, happy Easter, happy Passover. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. We're going to step out here for a break, and we will be back with more of Bubba's Bottom Line after the break. This is Todd Horwitz. We'll be right back. What's up, everybody? Just want to remind you, we did over the weekend, we did 2 great webinars, hedging and futures. We talked about our futures portfolios, which those expire if you have any interest in using managed futures portfolios, okay, which we give you the trades and you just execute them because we don't want to charge you a management fee. We just want to charge you a subscription fee. You've got 2 days before those expire, because we have sold it out we've sold the signals in a proprietary basis to a firm. And of course, once this is done, there will be no longer subscriptions available to that. So if you'd like to get that, just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. Right now, we're doing those $99 a month. On the website, you'll see it's at $199, but this is it. It's coming off the website on Wednesday. And also, our hedging programs and futures programs start Tuesday the 23rd and Wednesday the 24th. So again, if you're interested, great. If you want to see the webinars, great. Just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. In the meantime, don't forget about our high school investing program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line. Welcome back. It is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz on this Easter Sunday. And again, happy Passover, happy Easter to everyone. Thank you so much for checking it out today. And of course, we go back and look at last week's market as we kind of finished the first part of the show. We talked about markets, and there's no doubt in our mind that they're going to make new highs. Okay. Again, we're less than 2% away to making all-time new highs. And based on what we're seeing, again, you've got a slow, dull drift in markets that certainly indicate that new highs are going to come. Now, again, we have been long, and we say this every week and every day. We're staying long. I'm not getting out of the long positions until the market dictates that the overall trend has changed. Okay. Again, I don't like the market here. I think the market should be going lower, but I can tell you from 40 years of experience that, when you try to fight the market, you're fighting a battle that you cannot win. And the market itself will tell you when it is time to go down. Okay. The market itself will tell you when it's time and will give you plenty of warning. So for those who want to continue to try to fight what's going on here, because I can give you all the reasons why we should go down. Okay. Housing sucks. The wanting to lower interest rates. The banks are in trouble, in my opinion. Okay. All these things, but yet here we are. Boom, boom, every day, right? Grind, grind, grind. Okay. That's a classic dull market, and that's what we have. And until that resolves itself, we're certainly going higher. Now, something could change. There could be some news item that could create some fear. But so far, what we have seen is that nothing bothers the markets. Okay. Right now, what we've seen is no news is bad news. Now, eventually, and one of the signs you're going to want to look for, okay, is when the markets stop going up on good news, okay, and start going down on bad news. That will tell you that the overall market trend may be a change. But for today, and for now, and for the last 14 weeks, okay, it doesn't matter. Bad news does not play. There is no fear. There is no panic. But again, this still does look to me very much like a retail rally, and where the people that are doing the buying are the ones that are leveraging up and margining up their money so that they don't miss this next big move. And I think you're going to see what you always see when we get to this point. You'll probably see a little bit of optimism at the end, maybe a little bit of pickup in volume at the end, and then one last spike. And then I think it's probably going to be good night and Katie bar the door. But right now, we're staying long. We're not getting out. That's just the way it is. And I don't see any reason to change that. Volatility has dropped once again to basically zero. And nobody cares. And nobody's afraid of anything, because we all know that the markets can never go down again. And every pundit and expert on TV says we're going to 30,000, we're going to 50,000, we're going to the moon. Okay, so let them go to the moon. Again, there's no reason to step in front and say that it can't. All right. In the meantime, it looks to me, and painfully, it looks to me, because we're long, the grain markets, they've been getting punished and pummeled here. And of course, it's been a very, very ugly scene. It's not that they run straight down, but they just keep grinding down. So they're like the mirror image of the equity markets. All right. They just keep getting hammered and hammered and hammered. Now, again, we still like the grains. And of course, this is the time. We don't use stops in these positions. We make a decision and we pick a puke point, so to speak. But in the grain markets, I have no puke point personally. Okay. In the grain markets, I'm holding them as if they were just an equity, a stock that I'm going to hold forever. Okay. The only thing I'll have to do in the grains is I will have to roll the contracts. Okay. But certainly it's been very painful and a little bit torturous, as again, there doesn't ever seem to be a glimmer of hope. And it's really sad for our farmers and producers, because of course their cost of putting those in the ground, their input costs continue to go higher, although we don't have any inflation. But their receiving cost is going lower, like by the day. All right. Now, again, at some point, this will also turn around. And so, again, I'm not recommending that you go crazy. Okay. If you're going to get in this market, which we are, I'm saying to you that you have to be prepared to hold for an extended period of time, which is counter to the way that anybody actively trades. So this is be more of some type of an investment. Okay. If you're going to make it. And again, this goes back. There's certain points and times in commodities that you want to be a buyer. All right, knowing that at some point, they're not going to zero. Okay, there is no company here. There's no earnings to worry about. So at some point, they will find their level, and we would think it's somewhere around here, or at least hope that it would be somewhere around here, and that's what we're looking for. But again, this is a different type of trade. It's really more of a saying, hey, I believe that we're going to see higher prices at some point, which I do. And again, commodities get so much depressed, like they're never going to be used again. And I guess maybe if we're going to stop eating and have these special pills, then maybe the grain markets will continue to go lower. But I think at some point here, they will survive and find some pretty healthy bottoms. In the meantime, the meats continue to perform extremely well. Now, we had on Thursday, there was the cattle on feed report, which always comes out. It's one of the dumbest things ever. The report comes out at, I think, 2:00 Eastern time after the meat's already closed. Okay. And of course, then the farmers and producers that are involved in those, they get to sit and fester and worry about it, in this case, for 3 days. Okay. But in any case, it's always over the weekend. You got to worry about it, which can create, obviously, we know, a lot of fear and garbage in markets. But in the meantime, the report looked to be neutral, bullish, neutral, bearish. Really hard. It didn't seem to be on one side or the other, which was very consistent with the price action. I think one of the big things, of course, we do like cattle and we do like hogs, but we think hogs have some good selling coming on here. Again, the African swine flu, which might have been the trigger months ago as hogs rallied 42% from the bottoms. Okay. I think that what might have happened, what you might have seen here, is now the mainstream media has a hold of it, and they want to create this massive amount of fear of, oh my God, there's going to be a food shortage. But again, if you've seen me on air talking about it, I keep saying the markets tell you exactly what's going on, and the markets right now are consolidating after those couple of spikes up. All right, this was very similar. If you want to look back at a chart, go back and look at natural gas in December. Look at hogs in April. you'll see the same charts. They went straight up, and then they finally went sideways, and then they collapsed. And again, I wouldn't be surprised to see the same thing, and we'd be looking for a 10 to 15% drop in the hog markets before we want to step in, okay? And right now, from a trading standpoint, we'd more want to be on the short side of the hogs from just a trader, okay? But looking for a pullback big enough so that we can step in and back and be buyers. Because again, A, we like the agricultural space right in here. B, if, and that's a big if, but if equities ever sell off, that will bring in some new money to grains and meats and things like that. So again, I think that looks fairly solid going forward. But again, there's a few factors, and again, we've been looking for this for an extended period of time, and it has not happened yet. So again, this is like we talk about during the day: patience and observation, and be ready to wait for things to happen. In the meantime, the gold market, it was just a week ago Wednesday when my email and phone was blowing up. Oh my God, I'm not long gold. What should I do? Is it breaking out? I go, look, we've got certain levels. It has not even broken the top end of this range yet. We had assigned levels of 1290 to 1310 with a bigger range of 1280 to 1320. And of course, we were just over 1310. And before you know it, I go, relax. Again, you have plenty of time to get in any market. And of course, now gold is in danger of going down to the 1260 to 1240 level. It closed last week right around just under 1280. Okay, so again, margin of error, 1280 support can be as low as 1273, which was last week's low. It could be 1270. 1270, 1285, 1290, that's all within the range. Okay, you have to see how it trades from here. Now, right now, we're still bearish and still short gold, but we'll be looking for spots to buy. But right now, the first thing it's got to prove to me is that it can hold the 1280 level. That's number one. After that, then we will see if it can then build up some momentum. But for now, if you're a gold trader or a gold watcher, the best action you can ask for right now is to see it finally find a bottom and start to do some consolidation. Okay, I think that's really what you're looking for. Okay, is some consolidation before and let the markets go. All right, bond markets again continue to work their way lower. We've had some pops, but basically under some heavy pressure, indicating that the fixed income markets believe that interest rates are starting to go higher, even though we know that President Trump and everybody out there, Larry Kudlow, wants to lower rates again. Okay, they don't want to pay back the debt; they want to continue to lower rates. But again, the bond market, which is pretty big, and again, we tell you all the time, it's about 10 times bigger than any other market. In fact, it's bigger than all the markets put together. Can create some issues. So again, we'll see what goes on. Silver continues to get pounded into oblivion. Oil is in very tight consolidation, appearing to try to break out, and the oil traders have doubled down on their bullish sentiment. We disagree. We are short from the 64 level. We're just above that right now. But again, we will if we're wrong, we will take our losses and move on. I think that it's something important to understand that when you make take a position in something like this, you have to know where the exit is. Again, we always say, know where you're getting out. Okay. Cryptos look pretty solid. There's been some bad news there, but yet here we are. Remember, we've been saying from 3,500, 3,700 Bitcoin that they looked like they'd met a bottom. And of course, now they're over 5,000 again. So let's see how that all plays out. And we're going to step out here for break. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. We will be back with my commentary after the break with more. Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. Happy Easter. Happy Passover. We'll be right back after the break. What's up, everybody? Hey, listen, again, did 2 great webinars over the weekend. Actually did 3. One on the futures portfolios. If you'd like to listen to them, like to watch them, they're free. All you have to do is email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. Check them out. I will send them to you. And again, we've got our new class starting on Tuesday for hedging. And we've got our new class on futures on Wednesday, which is teaching. And you get to learn 6 and 7 week courses. Come and check them out if you'd like. And of course, don't forget our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. Now let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line with me, Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back to Bubba's Bottom Line, Todd Bubba Horwitz. And of course, as you know, I always find something to bitch about or talk about on my commentary. And it's the media again. I guess I'm in the media here too, but it is the pundits and the advisors and all those guys out there that that continue to rap on about how great the economy is, which again, these were the same people. And if you go back, you can look it up. This is not fallacies. These are facts. Go look it up. It's the same people that were saying the same things in 2008. Okay. And the funny story is that they don't even understand what's going on. They don't understand how markets even work, many of them. Okay. They're paid on-air personalities that have no understanding of a market. And it's so frustrating to hear them continue to dribble about how great everything is, and the markets are up, markets are up. It's great for your money, great for your money. Well, it's not always great for everybody's money, because if you own a lot of healthcare, it's not so great. Okay, and the Dow, which has been the one they always refer to, represents nothing in the big scheme of the investment world. But of course, again, if you understand the objectives, okay, and why they want to be bullish, because when they're bullish, more people are spending more money for the advertisers, so they can charge more money so you can watch their dumb shows, okay, that have no concept of how a free market works. I mean, not any of them could even explain the IPO markets, okay, how they were going through the price discovery model to narrow the price to actually get the stocks open, okay, and then a lot of their commentators, who not one of them has their own money at risk, but yet recommends a lot of positions to buy. Okay, again, that has not one of their own dime. They're only benefiting on what they get from others. Okay, but yet here they are telling you how great it is, and of course, many of them are selling some of the most ridiculous services that are only designed to grasp onto your cash. And I think those are things that concern me in this industry and in the entire business itself, is that many people get misled and led down the path to disaster. And I hate to see that, because again, obviously I'd love to see everybody strive and do great and make money and have fun and not have to go through the torment and the punishment of what's going to happen when we have the next market collapse, which, as we know from history, is coming. When? I can never answer that. In the meantime, I wish they'd get their acts together, because to me, it's an embarrassment to watch and listen to some of the things that they spew on air. This is Bubba's Bottom Line. Todd Bubba Horwitz. As always, I thank you for being part of the show. Don't forget to have a happy Easter, happy Passover. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks so much. We'll see you tomorrow with Bubba's Daily Update, and of course, next Sunday with Bubba's Bottom Line. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks.